Yo, what is going on everybody? Shri Kanase here. So the top 7 things to avoid for Shopify dropshipping in 2020. There are a lot of things that have changed when it comes to Shopify in the year of 2019, and keeping those in mind, there are definitely a few things that you will have to avoid in 2020 if you want to find any type of success with Shopify dropshipping. It is no lie that Shopify dropshipping itself is getting much more saturated in the recent time, but that simply does not mean that Shopify dropshipping is dead. In fact, that's far from the truth. But that does mean that you will have to change your strategies just a little bit and try some different things to find success and keep on going with the dropshipping, because dropshipping is still one of the biggest things you can do to really enter the business world and get some capital to invest somewhere else. But this is one video you're gonna want to watch until the end, because I literally spent a whole day thinking about what the 7 things should be that you should avoid in 2020, and these are the things I'm personally going to start avoiding. But without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into it. So the very first thing that you will have to avoid in 2020 and onwards if you want to find any type of success with Shopify dropshipping is avoiding smashing that like button. Just kidding, but I will appreciate it if you do smash that like button. But the real first thing you will definitely want to avoid in 2020 and onwards is avoid offering free shipping. Now, before you exit out of this video thinking I'm some crazy dude, just hold up for a second. There's this big misconception that because a lot of these big online stores, specifically Amazon, offer free shipping, and that too faster shipping than what we dropshippers can offer, for some reason we have to also offer free shipping. And that is far from the truth. In fact, I highly recommend that you avoid doing this in 2020 and onwards, which is why it is number 1 on my list. But instead of just avoiding free shipping, rather use it as a strategy and an incentive for your customers. In my own experience, what I've always noticed is that whenever I offer free shipping, my conversion rate is around 3% to 4%, especially on my niche store. But when I do charge for shipping, the conversion rate is still 3% or 4%. This was kind of a big aha moment for me when I realized this, because I realized that my conversion rate did not go down when I started charging for shipping. And instead, what happened is my profits went through the roof. I was charging roughly $2 for shipping and offering free shipping on all orders over $50. I chose the number 50 because my average order value was roughly 45. So through this, not only was I able to keep my conversion rates the same and get the same amount of sales, but I was able to get more profits per sale and build a more profitable business. So you want to keep this in mind when running your own Shopify store. Don't just believe what everybody says where they say offer free shipping or you're gonna suffer. That's not true at all, at least in my own experience. So definitely try charging for shipping and then give them kind of an incentive to work towards the free shipping. Again, what I like to do is just say free shipping on all orders over X amount of money, and the X amount of money will depend on what your average order value is. But definitely give this a try and avoid offering just free shipping to everybody, because it just loses its value. But that brings me to my second point, which is avoid testing one product at a time. Now, this kind of applies to both Facebook ads as well as Google ads. But what you want to do is you want to stop testing your products the traditional way. The traditional way was just launching one campaign if you're using Facebook ads, putting 5 to 10 ad sets within that specific campaign, and putting 2 to 3 ads within each ad set targeting one product. I personally believe that this is not the way to go anymore. There are much more cost-effective ways to test your products and test them effectively. One such way that you can do with Facebook ads is simply launch one campaign, launch 5 to 10 ad sets within the campaign, and instead of launching 2 to 3 ads for one specific product, launch 3 new products in all of the ad sets. So ad number 1 should be for product number 1, ad number 2 should be for product number 2, and ad number 3 should be for product number 3. Make sure these ads are the same for all of those ad sets. This way you can kind of distribute that budget for all of these 3 products and spend $100 testing 3 products instead of spending $100 testing one product. And the main reason behind this is, again, if a product is a winning product, you will know from that campaign because it will get you sales. It doesn't matter that you're testing 2 different products along with that main winning product. And this is something I understood in the later portion of 2019, because I tried this method and it was actually working. I found several winning products through this method, which which is why I recommend this. And this is the same when it goes to Google Ads. If you plan to only use Google Ads in 2020, I highly recommend that you create one specific campaign called the general testing campaign and test all of your products inside that general testing campaign. Again, you don't want to create one specific campaign for each product, as that is going to get really expensive very quickly. So instead of just trying to attack it one at a time, I would rather use the shotgun method, as this is known, where you just test multiple products all at once instead of spending all of your budget for one specific product. And again, it doesn't matter whether you use this strategy or the one product testing strategy. Either way, you will be able to find winning products. It just in the end depends on what kind of budget you are working with. But definitely avoid testing one product at a time, especially if you're lower budget. But that brings me to my third point, which is avoid putting all of your budget into cold traffic. Now, for those of you that don't know what cold traffic is basically what you target via your Facebook ads in the beginning when you don't have those retargeting ads running. Cold traffic are people who have never heard about your website, never heard about your product, and it's literally the first time they're even looking at your ad. What a lot of people tend to do is they just put all of the money that they have, maybe they have $500, $1,000, $2,000, they put all of that budget into just running these cold traffic ads without paying any attention to retargeting, and that is one thing you want to avoid at all costs in 2020. Again, this goes back to the point where dropshipping is becoming more competitive. Along with dropshipping, the advertising platforms are becoming more competitive. So in order to kind of battle them effectively, instead of putting all of your money into cold traffic, put maybe 20%, 30%, 40% of your budget into retargeting as well, because retargeting is where you'll get majority of your returns. And this is a great way to stand out of the crowd, because majority of dropshippers don't pay any attention to retargeting. So if you're watching this video, then definitely put some of your budget into retargeting, and that way you can really avoid losing money and actually make much more money for the amount that you spend on advertisements. And again, when it comes to retargeting, don't just focus on Facebook ads retargeting. Also try making some ads for Google ads retargeting as well, because majority of dropshippers don't use Google ads retargeting. That means you have an open platform where you can make a lot of money on. But definitely avoid putting all of your budget into cold traffic. That's just not very effective anymore in 2020 and onwards. But that brings me to my next point, which is avoid assuming what your profits are. Now, what do I mean by this exactly? This is one mistake a lot of beginners made. I made this mistake quite often, and I was making this mistake continuously for about a year. And that is, I was just kind of looking at order metrics. I didn't know exactly how much I was spending per month on my Shopify store, what all of my app fees were, what I was paying my VAs exactly per month, or how much they were working. And because of this, my profits were all over the place. I had a general idea of what my profits was each month, but it was never ever correct. In fact, the amount of profit would sometimes be $200 to $500 different than what I had assumed it was. And because of this, I suffered a lot in my Shopify dropshipping journey. This is one thing you want to avoid at all costs in 2020 and onwards, because every cent that leaves your account, you need to know where that cent is going. You may be thinking, oh, it's just 1 cent, who cares? When it comes to business, each cent matters, because that 1 cent could have gone into your advertising or could have added to your profits, and each cent adds up over time. 1 cent becomes 10 cents, then 100, 1,000, a million. And when you're doing big numbers with Shopify dropshipping, it is really easy to just not know how much profit you're making and not know exactly how much money is getting invested or how much is coming out of the business. So that is something you want to avoid at all costs. In fact, this is one of the most important things that if you take anything from this video, should take. Always keep a track of what your profits are. Maybe make a Google spreadsheet and figure this out, or be more specific when it comes to order metrics. But know literally every single number when it comes to your profits, because that is the meat of your business. Without profits, you don't have a business. So keep this in mind when you do run your Shopify dropshipping store in 2020 and onwards. But that brings me to my fifth point, which is avoid selling products with less than $25 in profits. Again, this goes back to my main point, which is the advertising platforms and dropshipping itself is getting very saturated. You simply can't make enough profits below $20. What I mean by that is if you're selling a product with a profit margin of $20 or less, usually what you'll notice is that Facebook ads or Google ads itself takes about 10 to 15, sometimes even $20 to get you a sale. So that means you're left with $1, $2, sometimes $0 of profits in the end. You're just breaking even. You don't want to run a business like that. In order to kind of avoid that from happening, I highly recommend that in 2020 and onwards, you start focusing more on products that can bring you a minimum of $25 of profit, meaning you get it on Aliexpress for $10, you sell it for $35. That leaves you with ample amount of room to actually scale the product if it is a winner and keep on scaling it consistently while becoming profitable. I'm not saying that you can't find winning products with profit margin of $10 or less, but good luck scaling that, because that'll be definitely hard in 2020 and onwards, because ads are getting expensive, period. So again, avoid products that are less than $25 in profits. But that brings me to my sixth point, which is avoid relying just on Facebook ads. Again, diversification is key in 2020 and onwards. Sure, you can make a killing with Facebook ads, but what is happening nowadays is that people that were doing well with Facebook are noticing that their ad accounts are getting banned, their business managers are getting banned. Facebook has become much more strict with its rules. And that's one of the reasons why I've completely switched over to Google Ads. And if you're interested in kind of getting into Google Ads, I do offer one-on-one mentoring. Message me on Instagram. It's at @dedicatedyoung, or watch my free videos on Google Ads on my channel. But Facebook ads is definitely getting more and more expensive. This is really the time when you should be thinking about diversifying and actually diversifying. There are a lot of platforms which are just open right now. For example, Snapchat ads, Pinterest ads, Bing ads, Reddit ads, and so many more. So don't just focus on Facebook ads, because you will suffer, especially if you're drop shipping with 7 to 22 business days times. So again, diversification is key in 2020. But that brings me to my last point, which is avoid mimicking other dropshippers. Now, in this case, specifically, avoid mimicking other dropshippers' websites and what kind of trust badges they have and all sorts of that stuff. Rather, you should be trying to mimic bigger brands now. Meaning, look at the big brands' About Us sections, look at their product pages, look at their cart pages, try to see how their checkout pages work, and try to really mimic those pages, because these big brands are the ones that are really making the most amount of money, more than even these dropshippers. I mean, these dropshippers are your competitors, so why would you build a website that is the same exact as your competitor? You would rather want a website that is much different than dropshippers and much more appealing to a customer's eyes. If you want to build a website like that, the big brands are the way to go, because again, they know what they're doing. They spend literally thousands and thousands of dollars testing stuff, and they base all of their decisions on the data that they get. So this is definitely one thing you want to avoid doing in 2020, and that is, again, avoid mimicking other dropshippers, focus on the bigger brands. But this was the top 7 list as to what you should avoid at all costs when it comes to dropshipping in 2020 and onwards. If you found any type of value in this video, smash that like button and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.